Hotline 21. I'm your host, Bruce Jackson, and today we have a great show for you today here on our Community Health Hotline show. We have a incredible local, national, international playwright, and her name is Beatrice Watson.
That's right, Bruce.
Beatrice Watson.
That's right, Bruce.
And y'all know how I'm real bad with names, but I got to get her name right. Mm-hmm. Beatrice Watson.
Yes.
And I had the opportunity going to one of her shows, and it literally blew me away. I mean, it literally blew me away. It was something that I wasn't expecting. Chicago is known for the arts. I mean, we've got arts just pouring out of our blood here in Chicago. In fact, many film companies have moved to Chicago, and they do Chicago Fire. They film it right here. In fact, over on the west side, they do a lot of filming for a lot of the movies that you see on television today. So we have theater in our blood. But then there's these special ones. And it leads me to Beatrice. And Beatrice, you did a piece called Who Wrote the Book of Love? And we're going to get into that. But first, what I'm going to do, for those of you who want to get tested, I want to just put this up there and we're going to come right back and we're going to talk about Who Wrote the Book of Love with Beatrice Watson and how she got started with this whole piece. So let me just put this up right now. And this is the Gift House. And if you want to get tested, you can come to 1309 South Kedzie and get a free HIV or STD test. If you want to give us an email, you can email us at thegifthouse@sbcglobal.net or check us out on the web, www.thegifthouse.org, or give us a call at 522-2420, and that's 773 area code. Okay, and we are back with Beatrice Watson, and we're talking about this phenomenal play she wrote, Who Wrote the Book of Love? What inspired you to do that?
Well, the group I'm with, or the group that we work with, which is Lift Her Voice Drama Workshop. It is housed in the senior complex and Park Shore East Senior Complex. And the whole idea for forming this group is to combine the community along with young people, people of all ages, together to come about and to tell their stories of life, their stories of struggle, whatever it is that is in the heart and soul of our people today. And one of those things are relationships, black relationships, and what's happening today in the black family and how the family is struggling to survive.
But you touched on HIV, you touched on the domestic violence. I mean, you were just hitting the ball out the park.
Well, actually, we didn't have the time to do as much as we wanted to, but we just wanted to touch on a few items, a few things, a few subjects that really mean a lot to our community, that touches the community. Like, who doesn't have a child that has been afflicted by drugs or HIV or something on that order? Who doesn't have a broken marriage or a broken relationship? And who doesn't have someone searching for love, and in the middle of searching for love we make wrong decisions, all kinds of decisions that sometimes backfire on us when it comes to domestic violence, things on that order.
Now, I'm going to put some of the play by the way, it was a phenomenal play.
Thank you
It was
so much.
no, no,
Thank
no.
you.
That is not a compliment. That is a statement of fact.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
that is a
Appreciate
statement
it.
of fact. It is. It was a phenomenal play. I'm going to put it on the overhead so people can see it, and if you can kind of narrate us through the images that we're seeing. Here's one we're going to put on the air.
This young lady is Jerry Hudson, and Jerry Hudson is a very talented young lady. She has her own writing group, and she will be in our building for the summer. She does a summer workshop for us at the Park Shore East complex, and that starts in July, this month, of course, all the way through to the end of August, first part of September. And she also does an annual debate, I won't say debate, but a theatrical kind of reading thing. It allows people to write things that touch their souls and things that they deal with. This particular picture here, she is one of the characters that comes into a writing group. It's a little group that read books, and they have meetings after they read the book, like a book club. And she's relatively new to the book club, and she is all into social media.
And what is her name?
Her name is Jerry Hudson.
Oh, that's Jerry Hudson.
That's
still.
Jerry
You know
Hudson.
what? It's actors have a way of just changing. She looked like different from the first picture to this picture.
Yeah, it's Jerry Hudson, and she's very talented. We were very fortunate to have her have time to work with us on Lift Airy Voice. And here, of course, we have Tina West to your far left, I think would be the right, okay, left. And then we have Claire Carty, and of course myself. I don't really like being in my productions, but I had to be in this one because we didn't have the character we needed to fill that role. Those two ladies, Tina, who was one of the ladies that dealt with the abusive relationship, where she was dealing with a man younger than herself, and the relationship will turn out on a sour note. Claire Carty is one of the ladies that's in the book club, and she's also my right-hand person with Lift Airy Voice, because she works very close with all of the marketing materials and, getting the flyers out and all of those things, among a lot of other things. So we're just very happy to have her with us as well.
Great. And they all did a phenomenal job, by the way.
Thank you. I think so.
Now, this young lady was stunning. Tell us about her.
This is June M. Jefferson. She has a very dynamic way of delivering her lines and actually getting into the feel and the touch of what the character is asking for. She plays a part of the mother, and she also plays the part of the roommate to one of the main characters. She was one of the main characters, but she also plays that role as well next to the main character, Georgia Johnson. But her role is dealing with her son, who is having problems in his relationship with his wife because they're not able to have children, and he at first thought it was because of his wife, which is what most people think. It's a woman's fault. But it turned out that it was his fault, that he had a low sperm count, and the doctor wanted him to come in for testing. He was afraid to do that because he'd been on drugs some years ago, and he thought that those drugs might have caused him an insufficiency of being able to have children. And of course, he was hesitant to go in because of his male pride.
Right.
And she, of course, spoke to him and told him that if you want your marriage to last, if you want your marriage to survive, you have to put as much effort into it as your wife is.
And Beatrice, that's a very real issue.
Yeah.
And especially in black families.
Yes.
'Cause they tend to always blame the woman. But sometimes, often, many times, the problem falls on the man.
That's right. That's right. And we were very happy to have her with us as well. Tina is relatively new with the organization. This is her first production, and she did a phenomenal job. I mean, I was so pleased with Tina and how she was able to come up to the task, you know,
Oh yeah,
of being the abused, being the abused girlfriend, older woman, so to speak, in this production.
and she rose up to the occasion.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. I'm going to have to steal this from you here, too, because I know I'm going to need it in a moment.
Okay.
Okay. And, of course, this is Claire, Claire Cardi, who is, her husband. She's married to a black man in this production. And he is going through a midlife crisis, so to speak. And he feels his days end by being retired and all that. He feels his days end by going to the casino and all of that. And he does fall out at the casino of a heart attack, actually.
Wow.
Doesn't kill him, of course, but he that does happen. But what we try to prove in that particular episode is that when we get older, and people get older, they seem to lose their way. And so, what do I do with my life now?
Right.
Where do I go now? And she was also confronted with concerns of how do you deal with a family. She felt that he should go to a nursing home. The family felt that, no, we want him to stay at home. But we don't do what white people do. We don't get rid of our people. That's what it says. And that's not the truth. The truth came out that it's better for him to be somewhere where they can actually take care of him.
Right.
And we can go and we can visit him and we can do what we need to do.
Sometimes the family can't take care of him.
He's at the point where they couldn't take care of him. This, of course, is Georgia Johnson. She's one of the stars, and she has been with me through several different productions, and I just love her to death. That I was very pleased with her. She always comes up with a winning performance.
She was phenomenal.
Always comes up with a winning performance.
She knows how to command an audience to pay attention.
Yes. She plays the role of the divorcee, and she is very sure that she doesn't want her ex-husband anymore. But when it comes about that he is going to be interested or becoming interested in someone else, then of course she realizes that she's about to lose a very good man. And she like a lot of women. When you start getting older, you start thinking, I'm losing out something on life. I need to branch out and see what else is out there. So when she and her husband separated, she felt that she was being boxed in, that her life was going nowhere, and that he didn't want to do anything with his life. So she felt if she just got away from him, she could live her life and be the person she always wanted to be. And but she didn't realize, or she realized in the end, that her life is what you make it, no matter who you're with. You can't run from yourself.
Right.
And you can't change anyone else. You can only change yourself.
Beatrice, you
That's
covered
it.
the waterfront with this play.
Yeah.
You hit every nail on the head.
Well, I tried. I really wanted to bring about the messages that are so important and prevalent in our communities today.
And you sure did. Now we're looking at you now, and now we are at another scene.
Yeah, that's a scene where she is talking to Jerry, who is the young lady who just joined the group, and just joined the book club, rather. And they're talking about, and she's very impressed with her, by the way. She's very impressed. George is very impressed with her character until she finds out that her husband has been courting this young lady and found her on the website, on the singles website, social network. So, and when that happens, the whole scenario changes. Everybody sort of changes after that happens. But yeah, that's what basically what's all about there. And of course, these are some of the scenes where Claire finds out or telling about her husband, who is has had the heart attack, and how she's trying to deal with his family and trying to make a decision on whether she's gonna send him to a nursing home or whether to keep him at home.
Okay, and I think that is it for our
We did-
overhead.
Yeah, we didn't have anything of the men. We can show some of the men there.
Do we have anything for the men?
The men, I have a couple of male characters I'd like to show up in their show there.
Okay, I think we do. Hold on for
Okay.
a second. Hold on for a second.
Yeah, now this is the young man. This is after he. This is during the abusive relationship where he slaps her, and this is Gamora Grisby, and he played Stan, and he was new to our group, and he is just so talented. This young man just blew me away with his performance. How he was able to just naturally come in and command his role, and he played the role, and like most men do, I love you, honey, and you made me do it kind of thing.
And this is the one that he slaps her.
Yeah, he's the one
Yeah.
that slapped. That's right after that particular episode at that point there. And how he's telling her that he really loves her, but she has to conform to the way he wants her to live, or how he wants her to conduct herself, and so she's dealing with this and deciding whether this is something that she wants to deal with for the rest of her life, And this is the scene where June is talking to her husband, and this is Steve, and Steve Miller. He's a fantastic young man, and he came to us. I went searching for him, really, and I found him. He's the son of one of the tenants in the building, and I met him one day, and I said, he's the character I'm looking for, and that was in a past play, but in this play he did a phenomenal job as well. He was able to get in there and really sell that part about the husband that just doesn't want to admit that it could be his fault that they're not having children at all.
Okay.
And June is talking to him now as his mother, and giving him some wise information, some wise guidance, so to speak.
And that's his mother there sitting.
Yeah, that's his mother. She's playing that role, and he's telling his part about what he thinks about should happen. Now this particular young man, Chris Macko, is a veteran actor. He's been around for a while, and he has a voice that is so demanding. He has such a strong voice
He did a great job.
that commands attention as well. And he was able to play that husband that is heartbroken and wants to get back to his wife, and she is defiant about not being in a relationship with him again. That is until he gets interested in another woman. Yeah. So, yeah. So yeah, those are the guys that we were talking about. Mm-hmm.
Great. Mm-hmm. And
And that's it. Yeah, on that one. Yeah.
Okay, I think we have reached our end here. Now, I'm gonna put in that show was the
There was one other scene too with another young man.
who wrote the Book of Love.
Yeah, but the other young man who is Eugene Mahoon doing the party scene. I don't think, did we get a party scene in there?
Do we have a party scene?
We didn't get the party scene? Okay, no.
Okay.
Didn't happen. But I would like to mention Eugene Mahoon is a poet, and he came in as a cameo performance with us, and he was the date for June at the party that they were going to, like the birthday party for one of the ladies. So he did a really wonderful job as well. Okay.
Great. Now, who wrote the Book of Love? How does a writer? Writers are very interesting people. How do you come up with concepts like that?
Through just looking at people. just observing people around you, observing your family members, observing your friends, observing how people talk to each other, how they relate to each other, and you want to make it as realistic as you can, So it takes time. I study each scene. I study each character. I want to make sure that the characters are realistic, and that they speak to you. That's mainly it. And I was very impressed with the performances of the characters, and very pleased with everything that went on. Now, what you have in your hand there is the sheet there.
I'm going to get
Yeah.
to this, but I want you to continue about how you arrive with how do you put together the concept of a play like this?
I just meditate on it. I meditate on it. I marinate it. I go to sleep on it. And I live with it on a daily basis in my head. And then once it's ready to be birthed, then I put it on paper. But I don't jump at it right away. I just sort of work with it in my head first. I sort of go over it with it. In fact, when I write some scenes, I actually, if it's emotional, I actually show emotions first before I put it on paper.
Gotcha.
I have to feel the emotion before I can put it on paper, because if I don't feel it, then I know that the audience won't feel it.
Right.
So when I'm writing it, I have to the lyrics that I'm writing, they have to actually touch me. They have to touch my heart.
That's the vetting process.
Yes, it has to touch me. And once it touches me, then I can put it on paper, and I can let it go and let it be able to breathe and be out there to the public.
Now, you have a whole series of upcoming events. I'm going to put them on the air, and I want you to kind of walk us through them. Would you do that for us?
Okay, sure. I'd be happy to do.
Okay, you can start with the first one.
Okay, creative readings we will be doing in September the 23rd, and that's encouraging people to actually write things and episodes and topics that may be of interest to them, that might have touched them in some kind of way, and or someone, they could read it from a book. Anything that touches them that they would like to share, we will be having that. It's like an open reading. That'll take place in September. And then we have the Authors Showcase, and we'll be highlighting authors from different locations. One of the places we'll be getting authors from will be from a group that has been meeting in the Stony Island Bank building. I don't know if you've heard of that one, but that's the bank building that they opened that used to be a bank some years ago, and now it's like a museum.
Okay, we're going to pause. I think you have a caller.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, caller, your comment or statement?
Yes, I'd like to have a statement to the author.
Can't
I
hear.
want to ask a question. I want to ask a question to her, to what inspired her to write, who wrote the book on love.
Okay, you want to know what inspired you to write Who Wrote the Book of Love?
Like I was saying, I felt that with the relationships that we're having today, the black relationships, the kind of turmoil they go through, the kind of things that happen in their lives, I question myself in writing it, asking what are some of the conflicts that happen in relationships. Some of it has to do with finances. Some of it has to do with people not being able to express themselves, or being able to find a way where they can feel loved. They feel loved, or loneliness, or just insecurities. So I wanted to put that in a way that people could really understand.
Okay, I think you have another caller. Go ahead, caller. What's your question or comment?
Well, my comment is to Miss Beatrice. I would like to say she's a great editor, great poet, great author, and I was glad to be in one of her plays.
Okay. He said he'd love to have you in one of his plays. Well, if you want to be in one of her plays, let me give you this email. It's JA-WA production on 38
No, not on. It's 38. Production 38.
Oh, I'm sorry. JA-WA Productions 38 at gmail.com.
Okay. And
Okay,
also
and so
tell
you
Miss
might
Beatrice,
want to give her an email and send her your resume, and I'm sure you'll.
Yeah, I'd be very happy to get the information. We're always looking for
and
good people. Yes.
also, also tell Miss Beatrice, this is Gamero. I was glad to be in one of her plays, and she is a great writer.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Thank you, caller. Okay, you were going over.
Yeah, the other
This.
thing, the authors showcase where we have some writers at the Stony Island Bank Building, so they will be coming out on that particular time as well.
Okay, now what I'm going to do, I want you to quickly wrap it up. I'm going to let you wrap it up. We only had a little bit of time. I wish we had more time, Beatrice.
Okay.
And tell us what's happening here, and we'll go out with this.
Okay, well, We Dream in Color is I'm being honored at the Dusaba Museum on the 13th of July. And that's by Quentin Alexander, D. Alexander, who is a Chicago top designer. And he does this annually, and it's a red carpet event, and I'm very excited and happy to have been acknowledged in that way. And of course, we're preparing for our Black History production, which will be coming up in February at the Hyde Park High School auditorium. I was able to get that.
Great.
So I'm very excited about that. And asking everybody to look out for it. We want to do something very close to, not like the West Side Story musical,
Okay.
but on a Black sense, where we show what's going on with our Black young
All
people
right, all right.
in their communities.
All right.
So,
Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming out.
and thank you so much, Bruce, for having me. I really appreciate it.
It was
Yeah.
really a pleasure. And I want to feature more of your productions.
I appreciate that
So
as well.
the next production you have, I want to be front and center.
Oh, I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that next time we get it videotaped and have it ready to just go. You know what I mean?
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent. I'll be the one with the bell on. So,
All right.
So
Okay.
you'll see me.
All right.
Okay. And thank you all, my callers and the viewers. Thank you all for participating and sharing. It always makes a good community health show. And until next time, stay safe and good night.